A little bit about silver and taxes. Now, pretty much, well, this has been the rule. Like if you get, if you sell something or you do, you get paid for something, you get 1099. Anybody who makes over $600 in a year from something, that's like 1099. And by law, you're supposed to report it, there's always that thing with the matching. You got to figure like, did I, you know, did the IRS get the 1099 or not? There's always that deal, right? Maybe you got one, but maybe the IRS didn't get one. But supposedly, if you have if you got over 600 bucks of sales of silver and you sell it through some channel someplace, they're going to 1099 it. Then you're going to have to figure out your basis. Now, I'm not talking about selling it now, obviously. I'm talking about later on, because it is going to fly way the hell up now because there's a lot of factors saying that they're losing control right now, big time. There's a serious liquidity crunch. But I don't know. I mean, I think 1819 strong support. So just to give you a little, I did buy a little bit more today. I bought some more coins. And I never got the ones that look like JP Morgan dollars, but they're generic silver, so I got some of those. Not much, but I got some. So, figure what the hell. 1819 is another big super support area. But the thing is, there's also, besides that 1099 rule with the threshold with the $600, actually the IRS, I think it was like a year or two ago, they wanted excuse me, they wanted to basically for people to 1099 everything. So if somebody got $200 off of something, 1099, and actually this creates so much bullshit work. It's like a waste of fucking time, man. I mean, somebody got $100, they do it for them, then they send it to the IRS, and somebody over there making 25, $30 an hour or more looks at that shit, In other words, that form just going over there is costing the government $200 or some shit. And in short, that is really what's wrong with the economy, man. Big time. We got like communist, advanced communism going on in the United States, but it's called capitalism. It's bureaucracy to the max. But they're going to they will issue, now they want everybody, they want 1099s for everything. Under $600 and everything. Now, the deal with silver, like with, not silver, but, we're on the subject of silver, but, when they talk about the transactions under $10,000, it doesn't get reported on the, I forgot the form. But they will report it. Actually, with all the page, I forgot what that form was. Holy shit. But anyway, I don't deal in the taxes that much, but I was a little bit for a while. But, there's like, you have to report it when it's over $10,000 on a transaction. Actually, I think it was on the Patriot Act. They're actually reporting a lot of other stuff that's even just $3,000-$4,000. They'll report that. Now, there's other things like this. Well, you heard of SARS, the Suspicious Activity Report. Well, they can easily just say anything that's bullion is suspicious activity. So they can make every transaction you do reportable. So that's another thing that's going to be tough. This is the one thing I don't like about this deal, because I think when it goes way up, they're going to tax the shit out of it, man. So, but I got other ideas, So I think the one way to get around some of that, because you don't really want to spend the silver and like cash it in. Normally, a person wants to make an exchange for another asset. So if you can make it like an exchange for another asset that is, where that other asset, like say for instance, you wanted to get a motorcycle, right? I'm just throwing one out there. But say the motorcycle sales were way down, because the economy was down, but silver was way up. Maybe you want to go to that motorcycle dealer and say, hey, here's some silver, give me that bike, man. You know what I mean? Maybe do something like that. But that would probably work also, especially with subcontractors. Say you want to put in a built-in swimming pool. and the economy was down because they're not selling swimming pools too much now. That's like a real luxury item, a big ticket item. Say the housing was down and all that type of stuff, so not too many swimming pools. So maybe you can make a deal and just pay the guy in silver. Of course you don't pay him up front. You make sure it's like you do stages. You make sure like he does up to one point, he does up to another point, that kind of shit. Just be careful with that type of deal. But that'd be one way to get around some of the stuff. Is that legal? I don't know. I don't think it is, to tell you the truth. But maybe it could be some kind of like-kind exchange. They do this in real estate all the time. So like-kind exchange, metal for services or real estate or whatever. But that would be the only way around it. And so if you go to sell on eBay, they're going to 1099 you no matter what. And if you do any big amounts, I don't even care if it's under the 10,000 threshold, it's probably going to get reported, because if it goes up a lot, they're going to make more rules. Now, there's another rule out there that came up in the last couple of years, and I'm not a tax man because I really don't like that shit at all. I can't stand it, man. But I know some things. There's another rule out there, like if you sell, like if you have like an electronic account, say you got PSLV. If you sold it, say you bought it at 13 and you decided to sell it at 11 because you figure it was going to keep going down, and then you rebought it back at 9. Well, you could not recognize the loss between 13 and 11 that you took because you rebought it back at 9 within 30 days. That's the other parameter, within 30 days. If you wait more than 30 days, this doesn't apply. But if you buy it back because you figure it's a falling knife, I want to dump it and then rebuy it back and hold your position, and I'll just take the cash excess off the top, right? Well, what happens there is they call that a wash sale disallowed. It's like you don't lose taking that capital loss on your taxes, but you can't take it right away. You will have to take it later on in the year, whereby you sell, like say it's PSLV, you actually sell it later on. Say you bought it at 13, say you sold it at 11, you took a loss, you bought it back at 9, then later on it was at 18. Then when you finally sell it then at 18, then, or when you finally sell it even at 3, whatever the hell it goes to, you can recognize the loss that you took from 13 to 11 on the price. So that's another new rule that came out in the last couple of years, man. And you know what? It just creates bullshit work for people. You're paying somebody. Accountants ain't cheap. It's actually in the last 10 years, one of the top paying things out there has been calculating taxes because of the rules, because the tax code has gotten that much more complicated. But like I said, it's not really helping production in any way. It's a bunch of crap, It's like going from point A to point B. Instead of going in a straight line, it's going through more bullshit. But I don't like it, to tell you the truth, because I like accounting and information. I don't like the taxes. I always hated that shit. But it's going to be something that's going to be a major consideration. And also I want to leave you with this, man, because, there's a lot of different opinions out there. There was this guy, I didn't know him very well. A friend of mine knew him a lot better. He had a bullion and coin dealership, and he closed it down in 2009, like when that crisis happened. And he went into cash and all kinds of paper financial instruments and stuff. He closed the business down. It wasn't because that he feared that gold was going to go down, even though it was down then. He feared there was going to be a catastrophic collapse of of pretty much everything, and that gold would be confiscated by the government. Now, the word confiscated could mean a lot of different things, physical confiscation, all this type of stuff. But I think it's going to be tax confiscations. That's what it's going to be. It's, in other words, if you make a lot of money on something, and, well, first off, we already see that the Federal Reserve is attacking silver to the max. They really are, man. I mean, it's not just a wild metal, but they're attacking it because a lot of people say that buying physical silver are like, you know what I'm saying? They're buying it to fight the power, per se. But what they will do, if it went way to hell up, they will tax it very hard. And I don't know what they'll do otherwise, but it could be, the capital gains tax can go up a lot or whatever. And so, I think that's going to be something to watch out for. And I think, they're going to put a lot of regulations right at the bullion dealers, too, where you go to exchange it. And this is one reason I'm going to be selling in steps. Because if it gets really out of hand, I don't know, man. I don't know what kind of rules these guys are going to come up with. They always do. But I think it's like you should be fighting the global plantation all the way because it's like we got a system, and I know there's a lot of people in the accounting field, the government. Oh man, they just think like they're God because they're freaking, they got this, they do this, they do that. Actually, I think a lot of those people are freaking waste. I got zero respect for them at all, period. And I'm actually in the accounting field, but I don't like the governmental bureaucracy of it. That I don't like. I like where you find the profitability and stuff like that, and you have to actually figure out, what kind of returns are we going to get on a project and how things are going as expected. You need accounting and finance. There's no doubt about it, but I don't know, excess government regulations and all that bullshit, I hate it, to tell you the truth. But it's actually become extremely lucrative now because of, people have to comply with it. But as the metals go way up, they're going to... Mark Farber alluded to this. He says, because he's like over 25% in physical gold. He says a large part of his wealth is going to get confiscated later on. And I think he's absolutely correct. They're not, the elected leaders are going to please the people and they're going to say, oh, you can't have that. They're going to pay the government so they can pay me. They're going to do that. They're going to do that shit. But just beware. If you sell gold or silver through any channel, you're going to get 1099. And then you're going to have to figure out your basis. And supposedly they want everybody 1099 if it's not just the $600 threshold, and if the transaction is below the 10,000, it's still conferred Gibby reported. That's coming up. That's actually been in place since 911. They don't actually do it, but they can. And if the metals are going way to hell up, they're gonna add that to hey, suspicious activities report or something like that. So, it's going to be pretty tough to make a lot of money on the metals even when they go way to hell up. So, and I'd suggest probably the like-kind exchange is going to be the best way. Actually, they got deals. I'll kind of ad-lib. They got some deals out there where they do these big asset swaps. I mean, nothing I got involved with, but they got things where they like somebody has a Greek island and he wants to swap it in for something else, and it's worth all this big bucks. But how the deal is, the where it's worth, and you get a fee off of that, a percentage fee, you get even more, right? So, but just beware of the bullshit, because the bullshit does not just silver's like a crazy, it's one of the toughest commodities out there, with price fluctuations. But, we can also say, in real estate, there's been bubbles. There's another bubble being inflated right now, probably. And it's probably going to get de-inflated if the Federal Reserve doesn't hit the gas again. Because basically the Federal Reserve has been inflating the real estate bubble. It's been pumping up. The market around the New York City metro area is extremely hot right now. So, But that's why I think Ben is actually, he is going to start talking about QE, and you're going to see the metals go up again. But he's not going to talk about it this week. I know that. I'm thinking the bottom for the metals is probably going to be in the summer, like July. Like, this is probably about it, you know? So I bought a little bit. I think it's smart to buy now, for sure. You know, it's pretty cheap.